The world of reality television has seen its fair share of unforgettable personalities, but few shows have delivered such wild surprise and unpredicted moments as Storage Wars. This thrilling reality series, where auctioneers and bidders battle it out over abandoned storage units, skyrocketed to fame with its dynamic cast of colorful characters. Whether it was Barry Weiss's eccentric humor, Dave Hester's notorious rivalry with fellow bidders, or the roller coaster romance of Brandy and Jared Schultz, Storage Wars captured the essence of drama, excitement, and human nature. But what happens when the cameras stop rolling and the bidding wars come to an end? How have the stars of Storage Wars evolved since their time on the show? Let's take a deeper dive into the lives of these iconic figures and discover what they're up to now. Barry Weiss. When you think of Storage Wars, one name immediately comes to mind: Barry Weiss. This man wasn't just a cast member, he was the soul of the show, a walking spectacle of wit, charm, and unpredictability. In a world of competitive bidding and dusty storage units, Barry brought color, charisma, and a whole lot of cool. From the moment he strolled onto the scene in his custom cars and vintage shades, it was clear. This guy wasn't your average treasure hunter. Barry wasn't in it for the money. No, his thrill came from the hunt, the mystery, the pure excitement of cracking open a long-forgotten unit to see what strange gems might lie within. He once said he treated it like a hobby, and that's exactly what made him so fascinating to watch. Where others saw profit margins, Barry saw adventure. One minute he was unboxing antique medical equipment, and the next he was joking with auctioneers or pulling out some obscure collectible and giving us all a history lesson, with a wink and a grin. What really set Barry apart was his style. Let's talk about that for a second. His signature look was a mix of rock and roll, biker chic, and Palm Springs vintage. Add in the quirky commentary and larger-than-life attitude, and you've got TV gold. His catchphrases, antics, and unexpected insights turned ordinary storage auctions into laugh-out-loud entertainment. Fans weren't just watching to see what treasures would be found, they were watching to see what Barry would do next. When Barry left the show in 2013, it felt like the heart of Storage Wars had driven off into the sunset in a hot rod. Fans missed him dearly. But in true Barry fashion, he didn't disappear completely. Instead, he took a step back from the spotlight, enjoying life on his terms. That made his return in Season 14 all the more epic. It wasn't just a comeback, it was a homecoming. The moment he appeared on screen again, viewers were hit with a wave of nostalgia. He hadn't lost his touch. He was still cracking jokes, throwing playful shade, and making storage unit bidding feel like a party. Even beyond Storage Wars, Barry has kept things interesting. From becoming a brand ambassador for Sherwood Valley Casino to making rare public appearances, he continues to live like a man who knows how to enjoy the ride. He's living proof that you don't need to be the richest, the toughest, or the loudest to be the most unforgettable. So here's to Barry Weiss, the eccentric king, the wildcard bidder, the legend of Storage Wars. Whether he's pulling a prank or unearthing some dusty oddity, one thing's for sure: reality TV just wouldn't be the same without him. Smash that like button if you miss Barry on your screen, and drop a comment below with your favorite Barry moment, because let's be real, there are too many to choose from. Dave Hester. If Storage Wars was a battlefield, then Dave Hester was its loudest, boldest warrior. Love him or hate him, there was no ignoring him. From the moment he stepped into the auction yard with his signature "Yup" echoing across the lot, Dave cemented his place in reality TV history. He wasn't just a cast member. He was a force, a walking lightning rod of drama, competition, and controversy that made the show downright addictive. Let's be real. Dave Hester wasn't trying to make friends. He was there to win, to dominate, and to grab the best units right out from under his rivals' noses. And he did it with style. That iconic catchphrase became a meme, a chant, and a battle cry. Fans loved to hate it, and haters couldn't help but tune in for more. Whether he was driving the price up just to mess with someone or calling out fellow bidders for their rookie mistakes, Dave brought the fire every single episode. And that fire didn't stay contained. Dave's off-screen drama added a whole new layer to his already larger-than-life persona. In 2012, he shocked the Storage Wars world by filing a lawsuit against A&E, accusing the network of manipulating the show's outcome through staged scenes and planted items. It was a bold move, one that risked everything. But Dave Hester was never one to back down from a fight. Whether in a storage yard or a courtroom, he always went in swinging. The lawsuit was messy, and it led to his temporary removal from the show, causing a massive stir among fans. Some were glad to see him go, but many missed the spark he brought. Because let's face it, Storage Wars without Dave just wasn't the same. His confrontations, mind games, and auction strategies kept viewers on the edge of their seats. You never knew what was going to happen when Dave was around, and that unpredictability was gold for reality TV. Even after leaving the show, Dave Hester didn't fade away. He continued dominating the auction world, proving he was more than just a TV character. He was the real deal. With decades of experience and a sharp eye for valuable items, Dave reminded everyone that behind the bravado was a legitimate expert. He also embraced social media, giving fans a peek into his world and staying connected to the community he helped create. So, whether you were rooting for him or yelling at your screen every time he said, "Yup," Dave Hester made Storage Wars what it was: unpredictable, explosive, and downright iconic. Brandy and Jared Schultz. Brandy and Jared Schultz, better known as the Young Guns of Storage Wars, brought a fresh energy to the world of storage auctions that fans couldn't get enough of. They weren't just bidding partners, they were a power couple with real chemistry, playful banter, and just enough tension to keep viewers locked in every time they stepped into the auction yard. Their dynamic was raw, authentic, and downright entertaining. Unlike the hardened veterans they often faced off against, Brandy and Jared had that underdog vibe. They weren't swimming in cash or decades of experience, but they had hustle, wit, and the guts to go toe-to-toe with the best of them. Watching Brandy challenge the boys with her sharp instincts and fearless attitude was a breath of fresh air, and Jared, always trying to prove himself, walked the fine line between cocky and comedic. Their wins felt earned and their losses felt personal, and that's what made their story so compelling. Together they ran their thrift store now and then and made a real effort to turn forgotten storage into real profit. But what really set them apart was that they let us in, not just on the business side, but on the personal side too. Fans watched them argue over strategy, laugh at ridiculous finds, and occasionally clash over how to run their shop or handle a big bid. It wasn't just about the treasure hunt. It was about the journey of two people trying to build something together. But as the seasons rolled on, the cracks started to show. The bickering felt more real. The tension wasn't always playful, and when they announced their split in 2020, it didn't just shock fans, it kind of broke our hearts. After all the years of watching them hustle side by side, the news that the Young Guns were no longer a team hit hard. Brandy, always the more grounded of the two, took a noticeable step back from the spotlight after the breakup. She focused on her family, her health, and a few low-key ventures, opting for peace and privacy over public attention. Her fans, still fiercely loyal, followed her on social media, where she shared glimpses of a life far removed from the high-stress world of storage auctions. Jared, on the other hand, stayed closer to the scene. He threw himself into his own business ventures and opened a bar and a new thrift store. But his journey post-split hasn't been without controversy or challenges. The duo who once seemed inseparable now live very different lives, carving out new paths away from the world that made them famous. What Brandy and Jared brought to Storage Wars wasn't just entertainment. It was emotion. They were real, imperfect, and relatable. And though their partnership ended, their legacy as one of the most compelling parts of the show remains intact. Their story added heart to the hustle, and that's something no auction could ever buy. Darrell Sheets. Darrell Sheets, affectionately dubbed the Gambler, carved out a unique legacy on Storage Wars that few could match. With decades of auction experience under his belt and an unshakable belief in trusting his gut, Darrell became the kind of bidder who could swing big and land even bigger. He wasn't just another face in the crowd. He was a fixture, a true original who brought intensity, energy, and a touch of Wild West grit to every auction yard he stepped into. What made Darrell especially memorable wasn't just his eye for treasure. It was his dynamic with his son, Brandy Sheets. The father-son duo brought a heartfelt layer to the high-stakes world of storage hunting. Watching them navigate the competitive chaos of the auctions together added real emotional weight to the show. Darrell was the seasoned veteran, the tough-love mentor who passed on decades of knowledge to his son, while Brandy brought a fresh perspective, youthful energy, and just the right amount of rebellious spirit. They didn't always agree, but that was part of the charm. Their dynamic felt real, raw, and deeply relatable. When Brandy left the show, many fans worried that Darrell's fire might fade, but instead, he doubled down. Without missing a beat, Darrell continued showing up, placing bold bids, and proving time and time again why he was one of the most respected players in the game. He didn't need a sidekick to shine. He was the show. Whether he was digging through a dusty unit or negotiating like a boss, Darrell reminded everyone why experience counts in the world of storage auctions. One of his most legendary moments came when he scored a storage locker containing a massive art collection valued at over $300,000. It was a career-defining win, a once-in-a-lifetime kind of score that only someone with Darrell's instinct and confidence could pull off. Moments like that cemented his place in Storage Wars history, not just as a lucky bidder, but as someone who truly knew what he was doing. Outside the auction yards, Darrell has kept things more low-key in recent years. He's enjoyed a quieter life, focusing on family and health, especially after some serious personal setbacks, including a major heart attack that nearly took him out of the game for good. But even through the challenges, Darrell's spirit never wavered. He remains deeply respected not just for his skills, but for his resilience, his loyalty, and his unapologetic authenticity. Darrell Sheets didn't just win big, he played with heart. Whether he was raising bids or raising his son, he brought a genuine passion that resonated with viewers. He's the kind of reality TV figure who doesn't come along often, a true original who stayed in the game for all the right reasons. In a world full of big personalities, Darrell stood out by simply being himself, smart, tough, and always ready to take a gamble. Brandy Sheets. Brandy Sheets may have started his TV journey as the wide-eyed sidekick to his dad, Darrell the Gambler Sheets, but over time he evolved into a standout figure on Storage Wars all his own. Fans watched him grow from the rookie learning the ropes to a sharp, confident bidder with instincts that rivaled even the veterans. His chemistry with his father added an emotional core to the show, sometimes hilarious, sometimes tense, but always authentic. For many viewers, watching Brandy come into his own was like watching a young lion learning to lead the pride. Brandy's departure from the show came as a surprise to many. He had become such an integral part of the Storage Wars family that it was hard to imagine the series without him. But behind the scenes, Brandy was already looking beyond the auction yard. While the thrill of the storage unit hustle was exciting, he was ready for something new, something that offered stability, growth, and a fresh start. That's when he made a bold pivot, from unearthing forgotten treasures to helping people find a place to call home. Brandy dove into the world of real estate, getting licensed in Arizona, and quickly making waves in a competitive market. It wasn't just a career change, it was a full-on reinvention. Instead of betting on abandoned storage lockers, Brandy now bets on himself, navigating the fast-paced housing market with the same hustle and determination he once brought to the auction yard. And surprisingly, the transition wasn't as far-fetched as it sounds. Years of experience judging the value of random hidden goods gave Brandy a sharp eye for potential, whether it's a vintage jukebox in a dusty locker or a mid-century fixer-upper in Phoenix. What makes Brandy's story especially compelling is that he didn't just leave Storage Wars, he leveled up. He took the spotlight and the skills that came with it and channeled them into building something of his own. And while he may no longer be on TV every week, fans haven't forgotten him. He still keeps a presence on social media, occasionally sharing updates about his family, his real estate work, and his new life away from the chaos of auctions. Every now and then, followers will spot a glimpse of that same Brandon, the sarcasm, the smirk, the straight talk that made him so fun to watch in the first place. His journey proves that reinvention doesn't mean letting go of the past, it means building on it. Brandy Sheets took the lessons he learned in the auction yard, negotiation, valuation, risk-taking, and used them as the foundation for a whole new life. From chasing forgotten fortunes to helping people build their futures, Brandon's story is one of growth, resilience, and the kind of success that doesn't always come with a camera crew. Renee and Nezhoda. Renee and Nezhoda, better known to Storage Wars fans as the Bargain Hunters, are the dynamic husband and wife team that brought a unique blend of strategy, swagger, and sharp-eyed savvy to the auction scene. From the moment they joined the show, they were hard to miss. Renee's booming voice, thick German accent, and unshakable confidence made him a standout personality, while Casey's cool, calculated approach balanced out the intensity with wit and charm. Together, they were a power couple built for the chaos of competitive bidding. Renee was never afraid to go big. His strategy was simple: outsmart and outbid the competition, but always know what you're getting into. He'd size up a unit in seconds, toss out a bid like he was born for it, and 9 times out of 10, he was right. Casey, meanwhile, often played the voice of reason. She had the patience to dig deeper, research the finds, and bring a level of polish to their operation that fans truly admired. Their dynamic wasn't just entertaining, it was effective. What made the Nezhodas stand out wasn't just their ability to find value, it was their chemistry. Watching them playfully bicker over a unit's worth or team up to take down a rival bidder became some of the most enjoyable moments on Storage Wars. They weren't just treasure hunters, they were entertainers, entrepreneurs, and at their core, partners in every sense of the word. Off the auction lot, their business was just as bold. Their thrift store, Bargain Hunters Thrift, became a real-life extension of their TV persona. It wasn't just a place to unload auction finds, it was a hub of eclectic items from rare collectibles to everyday bargains. Fans could actually walk into their world, browse the treasures they fought for on TV, and maybe even catch a glimpse of the duo in action. When the store closed its doors in 2021, it marked the end of an era. But true to form, the Nezhodas didn't fold. They pivoted. Even after the closure of their store, Renee has remained a familiar face on Storage Wars. He's still bidding, still battling, and still bringing that same high-stakes energy fans fell in love with. Whether he's flying solo or Casey joins him for an auction, his presence always commands attention. The man has an eye for value and a personality that fills a room, or in this case, a parking lot. Casey, though not always front and center, continues to be an essential part of their business. From handling logistics to helping manage the sales behind the scenes, she keeps the engine running smoothly. Together, they've evolved with the times, utilizing online platforms, connecting with fans on social media, and staying active in the resale community. Renee and Nezhoda aren't just survivors in the world of storage auctions. They're proof that personality, passion, and partnership can turn dusty lockers into gold mines, both on-screen and off. From dramatic exits to surprising returns, the stars of Storage Wars have certainly kept us on the edge of our seats. Whether they've embraced new careers, faced personal challenges, or remained dedicated to their roots in the world of storage auctions, each of these personalities has continued to make waves in their own unique way. As we look back at their journeys, it's clear that Storage Wars has left a lasting impact on both its cast and its audience. What do you think? Which star's post-show life surprised you the most? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on your favorite reality stars.